जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी। जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी। जय गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी। यशोदानंदन व्रज जन रंजन। यशोदानंदन व्रज जन रंजन। जमुना तीरा वनचारी। जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी। जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी। जय कृष्ण बलराम कृष्ण बलराम कृष्ण बलराम जय कृष्ण बलराम। जय निताई गौरंगा जय निताई गौरंगा निताई गौरंगा जय निताई गौरंगा। जय जय प्रभुपाद 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 जय जय प्रभुपाद। जम विष्णुपाद परमंस परिव्राज कचार्य अष्टोदश डिवाइन ग्रेस अभय चरणारविंद भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी शिल प्रभुपाद की जय। ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय। निताई गौर प्रेमानंदे। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरये। नष्टप्रायेषु भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तम श्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्ठिकी। So we are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 2, Text number 22. Ato vai kaveyo nityam bhaktim paramaya muda vasudeve bhagavati kurvanti atma prasadanim. Ato vai kaveyo nityam bhaktim paramaya muda vasudeve bhagavati kurvanti atma prasadanim. Ado vai kaveyo nityam bhaktim paramaya muda Vasudeve Bhagavati Kurvanti Atma Prasadanim. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Translation. Certainly, therefore, since time immemorial, all transcendentalists have been rendering devotional service to Lord Krishna, the personality of Godhead, with great delight, because such devotional service is enlivening to the self. Please repeat the translation. Certainly, therefore, since time immemorial, all transcendentalists have been rendering devotional service to Lord Krishna, the personality of Godhead, with great delight. Because such devotional service is enlivening to the self. Purport. The speciality of devotional service unto the personality of Godhead, Lord Sri Krishna, is specifically mentioned herein. Lord Sri Krishna is the Swayam Rupa personality of Godhead, and all other forms of Godhead, beginning from Sri Baladev, Sankarshan, Vasudev, Aniruddha, Pradyumna, and Narayan, and extending to the Purusha Avatar, Guna Avatar, Leela Avatar, Yuga Avatar, and many other thousands of manifestations of the personality of Godhead, are Lord Sri Krishna's plenary portions and integrated parts. The living entities are separated parts and parcels of the personality of Godhead. Therefore, Lord Sri Krishna is the original form of Godhead, and He is the last word in the transcendence. Thus, He is more attractive to the higher transcendentalists who participate in the eternal pastimes of the Lord. In forms of the personality of Godhead other than Sri Krishna and Baladev, there is no facility for intimate personal contact as in the transcendental pastimes of the Lord at Brajabhumi. The transcendental pastimes of Lord Sri Krishna are not newly accepted, as argued by some less intelligent persons. His pastimes are eternal and are manifested in due course once in a day of Brahmaji. As the sun rises on the eastern horizon at the end of every 24 hours. This is the Bhaktivedanta purport. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjanajalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamin Nidinamine. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesha Shunyavadi Bhashya Nadeshadarine. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. So, on this section, we have been reading that important series of verses, starting from Shanavadas, Sukatha Krishna. So, when we hear, heart gets purified, and finally, Chidyante Sarva Samshaya, all the doubts are cleared by practicing devotional service. So after explaining all of this, this is the kind of concluding here. It is said here, therefore means Prabhupada explained like something is already said. Therefore, ato vai kavayo nityam. Therefore, all this kavayo means all these transcendentalists, they are nityam bhaktim paramaya. Paramaya means the Supreme Lord. So all these kavayo means intelligent people or transcendentalists, they are engaged in nityam bhaktim because they understood the process of bhakti, the power of bhakti. So after understanding that, they are nityam bhaktim, they are engaged rendering devotional service to the Lord since time immemorial, nityam. And this bhakti, the process of bhakti is muda, great delight. So it is not like they're getting bored, They have to forcefully do all that. But with a great delight, they are engaged in the devotional service. Of what? Of whom? Vasudeva Bhagavati. The devotional service of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Vasudeva, who is Bhagavati? Who is the Supreme Lord? Vasudeva. And by doing this, Kurvanti, what happens? Atma Prasadanim. So this devotional service is Atma Prasadanim, means it is enlivening to the self. So this is devotional service. They are understood, and therefore they are, since time immemorial, all the transcendentalists have been rendering devotional service to the Lord, the Personality of Godhead, with great delight. Muda. So this is the nature of devotional service, that it is performed with great delight. What is the words Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita? How the devotional service should be performed? How it should be performed? Susukham kartum avayam. So this devotional service is always susukham, with a great joy, with a great delight. The same thing is coming here also. So Krishna says that devotional service has to be performed susukham. It gives a lot of joy, a lot of pleasure. If anybody who engage in devotional service, he derive the pleasure. Susukham kartum avayam. Even our acharyas also glorifies and they sing the Lochandas Thakur. What he says? Parama Karuna Pahudui Jana Nitai Gaurachandra Sava Avatara Sara Shiromani Kevala Anandaganda. So this is the process that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Nityanand Prabhu, they come, Parama Karuna, the most magnanimous incarnation of the Lord, and they are given the process. This process, and the first of the Lord, Sava Avatara Sara Shiromani. He is all the crest jewel of all the incarnations, the most merciful incarnation of the Lord. And then he is given the process which is Keval Anandakanda. It's only joy, nothing else. So this is what is the devotional service, the process of devotional service. And Prabhupada also explains many places that how this devotional service is such a joyful thing that anyone can enjoy. In the devotional service, nobody asks us to sit in a like particular rigid posture, press your nose, breathing, nothing. Just come, sing, chant, and dance. And when you feel hungry, tired, eat nice prasadam. So this is joyful. Who doesn't like to sing and dance? Everybody naturally, like to dance and sing. Joyful. People like nice food. So the prasadam is there. So this is what is said here. This transcendental devotional service, it has to be rendered, and this transcendentalist has been rendering with great delight. This is the process. There is a delight. Naturally, there is a delight in practicing devotional service if it is done properly under the guidance of a bona fide spiritual master. So anybody can enjoy, right? Nobody asks you to do any other thing like that. You simply just dance and chant. Even somebody doesn't know anything about Krishna, they just come in the kirtan and they're just naturally drawn to it. They start enjoying, clapping, singing, and they feel like, oh, it was so wonderful. They may not know what is this kirtan. They may not know the holy name and all of that, but there is naturally a joy. And if they don't enjoy that, you take it to the prasadam hall. They will definitely enjoy that. So this is devotional service given by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Right. So every aspect of devotional service is very joyful. Krishna Nam, chanting the holy name, is joyful. In a conditioned state, or maybe in a neophyte state, we may not enjoy or we may not experience the joy in the beginning in chanting on the beats. In the beginning, it might feel like, oh, there's too much. I'm getting bored. People are sleeping during chanting. And all of that may happen in the beginning. But gradually, that taste will come. One will experience that ecstasy, that joy. So why it is not there in the beginning? Rupa Goswami explains in the Nectar of Instruction. What he says, anybody knows? What example is used? Yes. Shad Krishna Nama Charitadi Sitapi Vidya Pitopatapta Rasanasya Narochikanu Kintu Adrad Anudinam Kalusaya Justa Swadi Kramad Bhavati Tadagad Mulahantri. So he says all this name, form, pastimes, anything and everything about Krishna is very, very sweet, very joyful. But why we are not able to experience? Because we are in a diseased state. Like a person who is suffering from the jaundice cannot taste any good eatables. It tastes bitter. But if he keeps taking the medicine, which is the sweet, the sugar candy, which also tastes bitter, but he continues to take that, then that acts like a medicine and it cures the infection. And once that infection is gone, the same bitter taste turns into sweet taste. So we are all suffering from the jaundice of this material existence, material desires. So when we keep taking this medicine, the Krishna Nam, which is very sweet, but might taste bitter in the beginning, but we keep taking. Anudinam Khalu Sahib, just Anudinam, every day, sadhana bhakti. When we keep doing that, it acts like a medicine. It cures our infection, all our anarthas, and then we start to relish the holy name. So it is naturally joyful, but in our conditioned state, we may not experience the joy, but it will awaken. This is the power of the process, the Krishna Nam. In the same way, Krishna Katha. Krishna Katha is very, very joyful. Anyone who hears Shraddha Bhakti Ratir Anukramashyati Satam Prasangat Mam Virya Samvido. When anyone hears the Krishna Katha in the association of devotees, Bhavanti Hirtkarna Rasayana Katha, it's a Rasayan. It's like that juice going inside. And then gradually with that, hearing that Krishna Katha, what will happen? It will result in Shraddha, Bhakti, Rati. The faith develops, devotion develops, and then Rati means the attraction, attachment develops. So this is Krishna Nam, naturally joyful. Krishna Katha is joyful. And I think we need not to talk about Krishna Prasadam. That is automatically everybody knows, then that is also joyful. And just by engaging in these simple activities, one merges into the ocean of bliss. This is the process of Krishna consciousness. And Prabhupada says, anybody can take part, even a small child also comes and naturally he just start jumping, dancing and start enjoying. Susukam kartum avyayam. Right? So this is how it is. So this Krishna Nam is very, very joyful, very nectarian, as we keep hearing the glories. And we understand that, okay, maybe because of our condition state, we are not able to experience. But we should keep hearing, keep reading, and keep practicing, and keep praying to the Lord that I can develop the taste. It's already there. How can I uncover that? So Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he sings the glories of the holy name in one of the beautiful songs, which is called Sri Nama Mahatmya, the glories of the holy name. It's a little long song, but I'll just selectively I'll read. I'll read this Bengali verse a little bit and then more we'll read the translation part. So it says, Krishna Namadhare Katabal Vishaya Vashananale Mora Chitta Sada Jwale Rabi Taptamaru Bhumisam Karnarandhra Panthadiya Hirdi Maje Praveshiya Bharishoya Shuddha Anupam. I'll read the translation of this. So he is glorifying the holy name. He is saying, the holy name of Krishna possesses unlimited potency. My heart is always burning because of the fire of desire for material enjoyment. It is like the desert made hot by the scorching heat of the sun. but the holy name of Krishna enters through the holes of the ears and goes straight to my heart with a shower of transcendental nectar. So, this is what happens when we nicely engage in devotional service. Our heart is like a blazing fire. Sansara dava nalaligde loka, like a forest fire. What is the hope? Only hope in the forest fire is some shower of rains. So our heart is like burning because of all this. Anadi karma phale. What is the second line? Podi bhavarnava jale. So since time immemorial, our heart is burning because of all these materialistic desires. There's no upaya. There's no other upaya. The only upaya is the shower, rain, and that shower of the holy name, which enters through the ears, goes into the heart, and for the burning heart, it acts like a shower of transcendental nectar. From the heart, the holy name comes to the tip of my tongue and continuously dances there. This chokes up my voice and makes my entire body tremble. Because of this, my legs cannot remain still. Tears of love flowed from my eyes, and my body began to sweat. The hair of my body stood on end, and my entire body lost its color. My mind became stunned, and I lost external consciousness. In this way, my entire body became filled with ecstatic love. So while we are reading this, we are not experiencing all of those things. We are simply reading like a parrot. But it develops the faith in us. The acharyas are saying that they are experiencing all this. Right? So we can aspire, and also we can be very, very hopeful that just by simply chanting Hare Krishna mantra, we can experience all this. The entire body became filled with ecstatic love. This is what this Krishna Nam offers. And when somebody is in that ecstasy, then it naturally is delightful. He enjoys. After creating such a disturbance, the holy name showered a current of ecstatic love. Before I could understand what was happening, the holy name made me a madman and stole my heart and all my assets. Very advanced stage. The same thing we read in the Chaitanya Charitamrita also, that how Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, when he met Prakashananda Saraswati, so the Prakashananda Saraswati was a great scholar, Mayavadi scholar, and he was kind of criticizing, condemning Chaitanya Mahaprabhu that you are a sannyasi, why you are simply just jumping, dancing like this. You should sit and then study the Vedanta like that. So in that conversation, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is saying to this Prakashananda Saraswati, what is he saying? Prabhu kahe shuna Shripad ihara karan Guru more murkh dekhi karila sashan. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu replied to Prakashananda Saraswati, my dear sir, kindly hear the reason. My spiritual master considered me a fool, and therefore he chastised me. Murkh tumi tomara nahi ka Vedant adhikar, Krishna mantra japa sada e mantra sar. You are a fool, he said. You are not qualified to study Vedanta philosophy, and therefore you must always chant the holy name of Krishna. This is the essence of all mantras or Vedic hymns. Krishna mantra haite habe samsara mochan. Krishna nama haite pave Krishnera charan. See what Krishna Nam can offer? Two things are happening here. Krishna mantra haite habe samsara mochan. Simply by chanting the holy name of Krishna, one can obtain freedom from material existence, samsara mochan. You become free, liberation. And that's not enough. Krishna Nama Haite Pave, Krishnera Charan. Indeed, simply by chanting the Hare Krishna mantra, one will be able to see the lotus feet of the Lord. This is what it can offer. This process of devotional service, process of chanting the holy name. Nama binu kali kale nahi ara dharma. Sarva mantra sara nama e shastra marma. In this age of Kali, there is no religious principles other than the chanting the holy name, which is the essence of all Vedic hymns. This is the purport of all scriptures. Etabali eka shloka shikhaila more. Kante kari ei shloka karira vichare, kariha vichare. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu saying, After describing the potency of the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, my spiritual master taught me another verse, advising me to always keep it within my throat. What is that verse? That Ishwar Puri told Chaitanya Mahaprabhu that keep this verse always in your throat. Famous verse. Just to give you the clue, it is about the holy name. Hare Nam, Hare Nam, Hare Nam, Eva Kevalam. Kalau nasteva, 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 gadaranyata. For spiritual progress in this age of Kali, there is no alternative. There is no alternative. There is no alternative to the holy name. The holy name, the holy name of the Lord. E Agyapana Nama Layanukshan Nama Laite Laite Mora Bhranta Hailaman. See what happens after this? Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is his experience, sharing what happened to him. Since I received this order from my spiritual master, I always chant the holy name, but I think that by chanting and chanting the holy name, I have been bewildered. Bhranta Hailaman. Been bewildered. धैर्य धरिते नारी हैलम unmat hasi kandi nachi gai yaiche madmat. While chanting the holy name of the Lord in pure ecstasy, I lose myself, and thus I laugh, cry, dance, and sing just like a madman. Just thinking what is going on here. I'm getting bewildered. I'm becoming like a madman. Tabe dharya dhari mane karilu vichar Krishna name Jnanachana ha ilamar. Collecting my patience, therefore I began to consider that chanting the holy name of Krishna had covered all my spiritual knowledge. He thought like that. He says, I got bewildered. What is happening? Like a madman. All my knowledge is gone. Whatever knowledge, what is this mantra? So like that he's thinking. Then pagala hai ila ami. Dhairya nahi mane eta chinti nevedilu Guru Racharane. I saw that I had become mad by chanting the holy name, and I immediately submitted this at the lotus feet of my spiritual master. So he goes to his Guru. Kiva mantra dila gosai, kiva tara bal, japite japite mantra karile pagal. My dear Lord, what kind of mantra you have given me? I have become mad simply by chanting this Maha Mantra. Japite japite mantra karile pagal. I have become mad. What kind of mantra you have given? Maybe some wrong medicine. Hasaya nachaya more karaya krandan edashuni guru hashi balila vachan. Chanting the holy name in ecstasy causes me to dance, laugh and cry. When my spiritual master heard all this, he smiled and then began to speak. So what he says, Shwarburi, Krishna nama mahamantrera Eita Swabhav Yei Jape Tara Krishna Upajaye Bhav. This is the Swabhav of this Mahamantra. It is the nature of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra that anyone who chants it immediately develops his loving ecstasy for Krishna. Yei Jape Tara Krishna Upajaye Bhav. So chanting the holy name can develop the loving ecstasy. Such a simple process. Krishna Prem, Krishna Bhav. So Ishwar Prabhu is saying that this is the nature. Krishna Vishayaka Prema Parama Purusharth Yara Age Trana Tulya Chari Purusharth. So what is happening? Yara Age Trana Tulya Chari Purusharth. All this Chatur Purusharth, Dharma, Artha, Kam, Moksha. Yare Age. In front of the holy name, it is all Trana Tulya. It is very, very insignificant. So all this dharma, artha, kama, moksha are known as the 4 goals of life. But before love of God add the 5th, the highest goal. This appears as insignificant as straw in the street. So you can just imagine that. People are after all this artha, kama, and then finally moksha. But it becomes very, very insignificant to the one who has experienced that love of Godhead. And that love of Godhead can be achieved by chanting the holy name. Krishna mantra Ei Swabhav Tara Upajaya Krishna Bhav. So it can generate that. Panchama Purushartha Premananda Amrata Sindhu Mokshadi Anandayara Nahek Bindu. Very important verse. So it says Panchama Purusharth. What is Pancham Purusharth? Krishna Prem. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says Prema Pumartho Mahan. This is Pancham Purusharth. So Panchama Purushartha Premananda Amrata Sindhu. For a devotee who has actually developed bhav, the pleasure derived from dharma, artha, kama and moksha appears like a drop in the presence of the sea. Mokshadi ananda yara naha ek bindu. So the joy one derives from chanting the holy name is like the ocean. And the joy comes from that mukti, the liberation, is like ek bindu. Just one a drop in the ocean. So there's no comparison. Right? So much joy that one derives. So we're talking about that how this devotional service is very joyfully performed by all these transcendentalists. Because they are experiencing this ocean. Right? So like that. Krishna mera phala prema sarva shastra kaye bhagya se hi prema to maya karila uday. The conclusion of all revealed in scripture is that one should awaken his dormant love of Godhead. You are greatly fortunate to have already done so. So like that, this goes on. A very beautiful conversation. So here we see that Prabhupada is explaining here that this verse is saying that the transcendentalists have been rendering devotional service to the Lord Krishna with great delight. So from where this delight is coming? Just chanting the holy name, it can give you like the ocean of bliss. And then another thing that this verse is explaining, such devotional service is enlivening to the self. So this is also another nature of this devotional service, enlivening to the self. What is that Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita about this enlivening? What is that verse? 10.11. After dadhami buddhi yogam dam. Tesham evanukampartham aham agyan jamtama nashyami atma bhavasto jnana deepena bhashvada. So this devotional service, as soon as somebody engages in devotional service, then nashyami, all the agyan jamtamaha, all the agyan, all the ignorance and everything is nashyami. When all the agyan is gone, then enlightenment comes. So devotional service enlivens the person. And in the Narad Bhakti Sutra, it begins with that the process of devotional service. The first aphorism of this Narad Bhakti Sutra is Athato Bhaktim Vyakhya Shamaha. That okay, it says, now therefore I'll try to explain the process of devotional service. Athato Bhaktim Vyakhya. Let me do the Bhakti ka Vyakhya. Explain the devotional service. So in that, it is said here, I'll just read the part of it, the purport. Devotional service to the Supreme Personality of Godhead is explained in the Bhagavad Gita, where the Lord says that a self-realized person is always in that transcendental state known as Brahma Bhuta, which is characterized by joyfulness. So Bhakti makes one Brahma Bhuta Prasannatma. When one is self-realized, he becomes joyful. In other words, he is free from the material contamination of lamentation and hankering. Na sochati, na kankshati. This is the nature of the conditioned soul. Either sochati means lamenting, oh this happened, that happened, always about thinking about the past, or in the future, hankering, desires, I want this, I want that. So if somebody is in the sochati and kankshati, he can never experience the joy. But devotional service makes one free from all this. Na sochati, na kankshati, brahma bhuta prasannatma. So he is free from all the material contamination of lamentation and hankering. Okay. A self-realized person also sees all living entities equally. See, these are all, we are saying devotional service enlivens one. So you understand there's no point of this lamentation, hankering, forget it, be in the present, engage myself in the seva. Also, he sees all the living entities equally. There's no distinction between the higher and lower species of life. What is the verse Krishna says? Somebody who is knowledgeable Somebody is Vidya, Vinaya Sampanne, Brahmane Gavihastini, Shuni Che, Vasopakecha, Pandita Samadarshina. So somebody who get that enlightenment, the knowledge, Panditaha, Samdarshina, he sees all the living entities equals, no difference, either Brahmana, dog or whatever. And then Bhakti is so sublime that only through Bhakti can one understand the constitutional position of the Lord. See, it enlivens one to the degree that you can understand the Lord. What is the verse Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, famous verse? By Bhakti only you can understand the Lord. Bhaktya mam abhijanati yavanya chasmi tatudha. By Bhakti you will know me. See? Bhakti enlivens, the devotional service enlivens. So one can understand the Supreme Lord through devotional service and by no other process. So many other processes are there. Karma Yoga, Gyan Yoga, Dhyan Yoga and Ashtanga Yoga and all of that. But then Yoginam Abhisarvesham Madgate Andarat. Among all that, the topmost is the Bhakti Yoga by which one can know the Lord. Right. Okay. So this is about enlightenment, and then we'll talk about the last part of it, which is Prabhupada is saying here in the purport. The different forms, Krishna is the fountainhead of all the forms. So in forms of the personality of Godhead other than Sri Krishna and Baldev, there is no facility for intimate personal contact as in the transcendental pastime of the Lord and Brajabhumi. So this is very special. And then Prabhupada is saying, his pastimes are eternal and are manifested in due course once in a day of Brahmaji. So this bhakti is very rare also. So bhakti is joyful, but bhakti is very rare. Right, it happens, especially this, not bhakti is not rare, basically this pastimes that happens, it is eternally going on, but it is revealed only once in a Brahmaji's it comes, and then once in a Brahmaji's day, Lord Krishna comes, he performs the pastime, and immediately after Chaitanya Mahaprabhu comes. And when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu comes, he just openly distribute all this transcendental knowledge, which is otherwise very, very rare. So pastimes are eternal, are manifested in due course once in a day of Brahmaji. So what is this day of Brahmaji looks like? Yes, Sahasra Yuga Paryantam. So there is 4 yugas, which what we call the Divya Yuga or the Chatur Yuga, consists of Satyuga, Treta Yuga, Dwapar Yuga and Kali Yuga. Starting from Kali Yuga, 430,000 years, then double, Dwapar, triple, Treta, Satyuga, 4.3 million years. That is one Chatur Yuga. And then that one Chatur Yuga, it goes 1000 cycles. So 4.3 million multiplied by 1000 cycles is equal to 12 hours of Brahmaji. Right. And then 12 hours of daytime and then 12 hours of night time of Brahmaji. So 24 hours of Brahmaji. That is one day, which comes to 8,640,000,000 human years. So Krishna comes once in how many years? 8,640,000,000 human years. Lord Chaitanya and Krishna's appearance is very rare as they come just once over that enormous period of time. So Prabhupada in the Chaitanya Charitamrita in the Adi Leela 3.10 text, he says, Lord Krishna and Lord Chaitanya appears once in each day of Brahma. Krishna in his original form comes at the end of every 1000 Dwapar Yuga. Lord Chaitanya only once in every 1000 Kali Yuga. Like that. Right. So their time of Brahmaji is 4,320,000,000 human years long, and there are no yugas, Brahma's night time. But time is going. The cycle is not happening, but the sleeping, Brahmaji is sleeping. So another 4,320,000,000 is going and sleeping only. Right. So Brahmaji is in the daytime and then 12 hours is night time. So a day and night, 24 hours period of Brahmaji is 8 billion 640 million years. So like that. So we can understand that this Krishna Leela, first of all, is very rare. And even rare is that somebody knows that Krishna Leela. We know because the Chaitanya Mahaprabhu comes and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu spread the glories of all this Krishna Leela, Krishna Nam, Krishna Katha and all of that. So how rare it is. That is why all these transcendentalists, they've understood all this and they're Nityam Paramaya Uda. So they're constantly engaged in this devotional service of the Lord, like that. Okay, so these are some of the points here that as mentioned here. So ato vai kabyo nityam bhaktim paramaya uda. So this bhakti is muda and gives a great delight, and also atma prasadanim, it enlivens the self. So this is the nature of this devotional service. So one should very sincerely engage in devotional service. Okay, we can stop here, and unless anybody has any quick question or any comment. Okay, ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय, श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय, निताई गौर प्रेमानंदे।